I'm Cassandra and I work with ThedaCare. I'm also a busy mom of 3.
Camden, no thanks. Hey.
Doing it all is more challenging than ever, and that includes making healthcare decisions. So, welcome to Health Inspired Talk, where we cut through the confusion, we chat with experts, and we help you get the care you need for you and your family. We know the new year begins January 1st, but for many of us, September can feel like the unofficial start to the year. Perhaps it's the end of summer that means the beginning of a new school year, or planning ahead for the winter. Autumn represents a time of change and preparation. In this episode of Health Inspired Talk, we're getting tips from experts on shifting from the relaxed days of summer to the routines of fall. Preparing for the new school year impacts both kids and parents. The shift may bring feelings of excitement, anxiety, and everything in between. ThedaCare pediatrician Dr. Abby Smolcich joins us today, and we're going to talk about getting into the back-to-school mindset. Dr. Smolcich, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So as you can see, we have this great wheel here with various topics that relate to back to school. We're going to spin this in kind of a carnival style. We're going to see where we land, and then we're going to talk through these topics.
Okay.
All right, so why don't you go ahead and give it a spin?
All right, here we go.
Sleep. Okay, this is an important one as kids are transitioning back to school. What are some of your sleep tips?
It can be really hard for kids to transition back to normal sleep schedules for school. So one of the things that I recommend is spending some time, a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks before the school year starts, and start to transition bedtime kind of back to where they were during the school year. So start with small chunks. If they normally go to bed at 8 o'clock during the school year and they've been staying up till 9 during the summer, spend a couple of days going to bed at 8:45 and then a couple more days at 8:30 and transition backwards that way. In addition, also start waking the kids up in the morning because that also tends to be a little bit tricky.
All right, you want to give it another spin?
All right, let's do it.
Screen time. Screen time is a big one because I think a lot of kids probably get more screen time maybe during the summer months. What do you have for us when it comes to screen time?
The recommendations are 1 to 2 hours of screen time outside of school. It can be as simple as we set a timer and here's your hour of time, or we do a half an hour now and a half an hour after dinner time. Something like that, easy, where the kids have that reminder, that visual, that auditory reminder.
Mm-hmm. All right, what's our next topic?
All right, let's do it.
Vaccines, an important topic as we're going back to school and we have those wellness visits, school physicals, and sports physicals. Is anything changed this year with vaccines?
Yes, so I would like to say vaccines are very important. It's important to keep yourself healthy, keep other kids healthy. Bottom line, it's very important to get your vaccines. Yes, there has been a change. So the requirements for the state of Wisconsin for the schools now require your first dose of meningitis vaccine to be given before you enter 7th grade, where that was not previously a requirement. So I always encourage parents, if you have questions about that, to reach out to your pediatrician or your provider so that they can explain that a little bit more to you.
Perfect. All right, our next topic, let's see what it is. All right, backpacks. Oh my goodness, I always see these small kids with backpacks that seem like they weigh as much as the child does. What recommendations do you have for us for backpacks?
Yes, I agree. I see that too a lot. You get the hunchy back and you get neck pain and back pain and kids get sore. You can actually even have increased risk of falls because you're off balance. Your center of gravity is off balance. And so, I always encourage families and kids, if there's something that you don't need to bring home, leave it at school.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, you want to give it another spin?
All right, let's do it.
Okay, jitters. Oh, this happens to every kid, right? Like this is normal.
Yes, all of us have experienced that at one point or another. So having that open, honest conversation, and I think it means a lot hearing, oh, mom was nervous when she had to do this, so it's okay that I'm nervous. Also, too, asking the kids, what are you nervous about? What are you anxious about? What can we talk through, your expectations and what you can expect when the school year starts. You'd be surprised what the kids are anxious and
the
worried
small
about.
things, right?
Yes,
It's the little things.
It is.
Getting from one class to the other, having a different lunch period or something like that.
It is. If you can walk through the school day and sort of help the kids anticipate those changes, I think that can be a really powerful tool. But yes, it's very, very common to see that.
Okay. All right. What's our next topic?
Okay.
Okay, feeling unwell. This is going to happen to all of the kids in school this year. At one point or another, they're probably going to get sick.
Absolutely. What I always tell families is when your kids aren't feeling well, assess what things are going on. Because some of the things, you could potentially still send the kids to school. And other things it would not be appropriate to send your kids to school. One example would be if they're vomiting. Right. You don't want to send your kid to school if they're throwing up. Not okay for anybody. Certainly not okay for the child. Another symptom that I usually encourage families to stay home is fever as well. When we have a fever, our body is fighting something off, and that's a period of time where we can be the most contagious. And so that increases the risk of spreading whatever sickness that your child has to other kids in the class and at school. Other symptoms that maybe you could have a conversation about and decide, could we try it for a little bit and then kind of see how things go throughout the day. Headaches being one of them. Mm-hmm. Stomach aches are also another thing where you can sort of tell the child, let's try it. Let's see how the school day goes. And if you need to come home, you can call me and I can come and pick you up. If you feel like there's something you're not quite sure about, I always encourage calling your provider's office, your pediatrician's office, and just ask, what do you think? Should we go to school? Should we stay home?
Absolutely. Dr. Smolcich, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
From school supply shopping to managing busy schedules, this time of year can bring added stress for parents. Michelle Hastings, a mental health clinician, joins us to provide some tips to help ease the transition for our families. So thanks for being with us.
I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to have some icons, and these icons represent challenges that families might face as we return to back to school, and you're going to offer us those tips and maybe some advice of how to get through all of this. Okay, so let's take a look at our first one here. This one is balancing busy schedules. Oh my, this is something probably all families face. What can we do to help ease this as we go back to school?
Well, I think right off the bat, just making sure that we're not overcommitting ourselves in any area. Really just limiting the amount of extracurriculars you get your kids involved in is probably key. Organization is big too, so finding a calendar system that works for you. Beginning of the school year, put all of the school events on the calendar right away. As soon as appointments get scheduled, put those on the calendar, sports schedules. All of those things, so you've got it already recorded. And then at the beginning of the week, maybe on a Sunday evening, you sit down and kind of regroup and look at the week ahead. Is there anything out of the ordinary you need to plan for? Anything different, that's going to require some different transportation or planning, and have that conversation with your kids so that you are all on the same page about what that plan is for the week ahead. And then, so you've got your school stuff, your sports, family time. Mm-hmm. Make sure you're balancing that with family time. Mm-hmm. Talk about what might have been challenging that week, what's going well. It's just some good solid time for you all to be together.
Oh, I love that. And as busy families, we need to make sure we're carving out that special time.
Yes, very much so.
Okay. Our next one up here, creating a sense of calm within the household. This can be difficult, especially for families altogether, but kids and parents alike.
Yes, absolutely. And I think it's important to remember that, kids take cues from their parents. So the more calm and positive you are, your children feel more confident and secure in their life, especially when things get a little more stressful. Mm-hmm. And, another thing to consider is the importance of routine. Having good, consistent structure within the home is essential. And I know it's difficult to do when you've got, again, extra appointments, extra commitments, but the more you can try and keep some consistency, the more we all know what to expect and the less likely we're going to feel on edge.
Oh, those are great, great tips. Okay, our next one. Taking care of yourself while taking care of others. I think as moms, this one is really challenging. I know dads probably feel it too, but as moms, I feel like we kind of take the load there.
Yes, there's always going to be something else to do. Laundry is going to need to be folded. Something needs to be cleaned. Somebody needs something. But if you actually schedule that time like you would an appointment, the more likely you are to follow through with it. And it doesn't have to be anything extravagant. I mean, even just taking 5 minutes here and there to take a deep breath and do some mindfulness. If you have more time, go for a walk, get some movement in, enjoy nature, whatever works for you.
Oh, I love that. Again, just a little bit of time can mean so much.
Yes.
Okay. Our last one up here is needing help when you or someone in your family is feeling overwhelmed. I love that, the SOS icon, right? We've all been there as families. We've all been there. We all need help, and it's hard to raise your hand.
Yes, but it is okay to ask for help. It's a big thing. Identify and utilize the support system. Make sure you have somebody to talk to. That can be your spouse, family, friends, mental health professional, of course. You know, it's really important to have that solid support system in place. And probably most importantly, as you're feeling maybe overwhelmed, be forgiving of yourself. This overwhelmed feeling, this chaos is not going to last forever. So take it one day at a time, and remember that it's okay to say no.
The one day at a time, I think, is what kind of gets parents through those really difficult days.
So.
Okay, Michelle, you've given us some really great advice. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Healthy eating is always important for families, and when they return to back to school, it can add even more challenges. An endless number of snacks, planning and packing lunches, and getting dinner on the table with an endless amount of after-school activities. Allie Hatley is a health coach with ThedaCare. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
So you're going to talk us through some healthy choices and maybe some prep planning options as we all head back to school.
Yes.
All right, let's start at the beginning of the day with breakfast. What are some healthy options and maybe some quick options for us?
Yes, so breakfast or the morning time can definitely be a hectic time for a family. We want to focus on making sure it's really well balanced, that it's high in fiber, high in carbohydrates, give them that energy for the day, give them some protein that is going to help them feel full until lunch. So cereal is always a really good option, a really quick option, and you can kind of get that extra fiber by making sure you're choosing some kind of high fiber cereal, kind of like a multigrain Cheerio type of situation. Then you can also add fruit to it. Maybe you have a piece of fruit on the side to kind of, again, create that better balance throughout the day. Some things that you can choose and kind of maybe prep the night before or the weekend before. Maybe you make some whole wheat pancakes and you can heat them up in the morning. That's a quick, healthy breakfast. And you can add some nuts or maybe some fruit to that. No bake energy bites, kind of those like little energy balls that you can make with like peanut butter and oatmeal and chia seeds. Overnight oats are a great option as well. You can make homemade muffins the weekend before so that they have a great option for breakfast as well.
Another thing that parents have to think about is snacks. What things can we make ahead of time that ensure that our kids are getting healthy options and that maybe are a little easier on our own time?
Absolutely. So I think the more you get the kids involved, the better. You're teaching them habits that they're going to take with them the rest of their lives. So you can make a list of some of the fruits that are your child's favorite, maybe the veggies that are their favorite, whole grain options that are their favorite, maybe some protein options that are their favorite, and then you rotate those throughout the year so that they don't get bored with it. Some things like whole grain crackers are a really great option because they're quick, but they give them some of that extra fiber for the day, a little extra energy. Maybe some cubed cheese is a great way to get a little extra protein. Even some of your favorite fruits and vegetables, if you pre-cut those ahead of time, sometimes they might get a little bit brown when some air starts getting to them, and that can throw kids off a little bit. So you can use some lemon juice, maybe soak some of those things in lemon juice, and that helps prevent them from getting brown so that you can still pack them as a healthy snack, but they won't be weirded out by the brown color. But even kind of picking maybe some of their favorite nuts, maybe a trail mix that you make at home. Of course, you have to be careful of food allergies. Some schools do have some restrictions there. But yeah, just looking for a variety of different options like that is a great way to go.
Okay, dinner. I feel like this is a challenge for parents, right? Like, we're working throughout the day, the kids are coming home, then we're going to after school activities. So what are maybe some quicker but healthier options?
A crock pot is a great example of a great way to save yourself some time. When we make our meal plan at home, I know that on the days where my kids have swimming lessons and another one has practice, that's the day I'm planning for a
Yes.
crock pot meal. That way it's cooking all day, and by the time we get home, it's ready to go and we can
Yes.
sit down and eat. Pasta is not necessarily a bad thing. I think sometimes it gets a little bit of a
Yeah.
stigma as a bad thing, but you can choose a whole grain pasta. Again, lots of fiber. Have a veggie option that maybe the whole family likes, and make sure you're modeling that behavior as well. Dinner is a great time for parents to model what a healthy diet, healthy, well-balanced diet can look like. Because if we're not modeling it to the kids,
They're not doing
they're not
it, right?
going to do
No.
it. Absolutely.
That's great advice. Allie, thank you so much for all of your tips.
Thank you.
We send best wishes to all the kids and parents navigating back to school. Remember, your ThedaCare team is always here to support the health and well-being of you and your family. To schedule an appointment, log into My ThedaCare. We'll see you next time. At ThedaCare, our mission is to help you live your unique best life. And we want to know what kind of questions you have when it comes to your health care. Leave your questions and comments below. And be sure to like and subscribe so you see the very latest in this series.